Hi there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam, and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at Kalypso by Inside Up Games.
Kalypso is the latest game from Inside Up Games that is coming to crowdfunding, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video after you watch it to check out the campaign page to get all the details on this polyomino game. Now, what you have here with Kalypso, this is a game that can be played either cooperatively or competitively. And as I mentioned, this is a polyomino game with a kind of like a Waterworld theme, if you're familiar with the old Kevin Costner movie. But basically, the whole world is covered in water in this one, and you are trying to build a settlement using polyomino tiles to build out different places for you to then place tiles on top of those tiles, which are going to be your buildings, which will ultimately give you the most points and hopefully help you survive the round. This is a little bit of a survival game, as you are going to be encountering different things, different events with the rounds. And if you're playing cooperatively, you want to do that as a team. If you're playing competitively, then you'll want to survive your own little event. Let's take a look at how this one works down below, and then we'll come back and share thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer. All right, I have Kalypso on the table. Let me show you all this polyomino Waterworld game. Now, I do want to make sure you understand that what you see here is prototype, so the final artwork components, maybe even some of the rules might change once it's released from crowdfunding. And I would also ask that you turn on the Klingon subtitles, just in case I make some rules goofs as I talk about this. This is not going to be a complete how to play. There are some intricacies, nuances with the rules on this game. Won't be able to go over all of those details, but I'm just going to give you kind of a brief overview of how this game works. And this is a this is a very nice prototype. And I would assume that it's got to be fairly close to being complete. There are maybe a few things that they might change with some of the tiles, these tiles over here. But what I really want to point out is this board. Now, you might see this board and it might look like it's maybe got something on it, and it does. It's got this fabric on it that feels a little like felt. I don't know how else to really describe it, but the tiles, like these barrel tiles right here, are also covered in the same kind of material. And that makes it so that these tiles do not move easily. You have to really kind of like nudge it hard for it to be able to move. So when it's in this spot, it's going to stay there. It's not going to just slide around like these wooden life preservers, which these are really nice too. But these do move around. These pieces are going to stay on the board. Now, the other pieces that you will be using, the polyomino types pieces, they're also covered in this. So that's really kind of nice because you are going to be stacking things on your board. So other components are going to include the vortexes, which are going to hold the tiles, and these are also covered in that same kind of material. You've got tiles over here. These are going to be buildings. You've got other tiles that you'll be placing, these garden and nets, these boats. You've got some meeples in the game that are going to act as survivors. And you've got some cards. And as I've already showed you, you do have some bags with some tiles in them. So let's talk about how this game works. And I do want to point out that this game can be played in two different ways. You've got the competitive way, which is what we're going to be talking about right here. And you've got the cooperative play, which I will briefly talk about at the end of this rules portion of the video, as it's fairly similar to what you're doing here with just a couple of changes. Now, what's going to happen in this game is you are going to be building out your settlement for your people to survive. You've got some survivors here, and you want to make them residents, helping you to build up your city to survive the different events that will be coming your way. Now, all players are going to have the same 7 cards in their hands, and if you're playing in the competitive mode, you will only be focused on the top half of these cards. If you're playing in the cooperative mode, you'll be focusing on the bottom half. And so all players have the same exact cards. And what's going to happen is that each player is going to select an event for another player to have to focus on for that specific round, such as sitting on the dock here. This specific event has you to be able to get one fish token and one garden. We'll cover what that means here in just a second. But this is an event, if I'm given this card, that I need to focus on for this round. There are 4 rounds in the game, which means you'll get 4 events. Now, if I fulfill this, I'm going to earn something positive. I'll get 1 extra victory point for every survivor that I have at the end of the game. If I fail, I lose 3 points at the end of the game. So I would get this event and I would tuck it under the top half slot of my board. I'm going to slide my board down a little bit. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different rounds and space here for me to reference back to what is my event. Now, I have my event and now the game is going to begin. What's going to happen next are that these vortexes are in between each player, and you will receive 5 tiles of these T-shaped tiles on your vortex. And you'll take a look at which of the 5 tiles that you like the best, and you'll place it out on your board. Now, you would already have 1 tile on your board in this center space right here touching it. You'll choose between 2 tiles. And ultimately, what you're trying to do with these tiles, I should explain, is you're trying to reach out to these life preservers to earn yourself more survivors. But you're also wanting to cover these barrels because barrels are going to be wild and they can count as any kind of icon that you see on these tiles. And that's going to be nice because that's going to help you in being able to build these buildings that you see over here. So I would already have one out here and I would select one out here to place with it. And what I'm trying to ultimately do is I am trying to make a 3x3 area of the same icon to be able to, I need 3 of the same icon in a 2x2 area. I will get the rules right here. And so I don't really have that with the tiles that I have out here, but I'm going to go ahead and build it like this. And now I'm not inclined to cover up these fishes, because I'm going to want to fish them. I don't want to cover them up because then I won't be able to catch them. They'll be worthless to me. So I don't want to cover up the fish. So then I would place my tile and that would be the end of everything that I could do. And we would pass our vortexes in a clockwise or counterclockwise manner as denoted by what's on the vortex. In the first and third round, we would be passing them clockwise, but then these are going to flip over and it's going to be counterclockwise on the back. So we would pass these around, and I'm going to go ahead and just have 4 on here because I should have had 5. But then I would get a vortex passed back to me, and I would select another one to use. And now I'm going to place it like this because I have 3 seaweed right here in the same 2x2 area. And that's what you need in order to be able to build some things. As you can see, they're green, and that allows me to build a green building. And each of these buildings are double-sided. On one side, on this green side, it's going to be a greenhouse. Or excuse me, this is the net workshop. And then on the back side, this is going to be the greenhouse, which is going to let me build a garden. So each of these provide me a different resource. They also provide me a number of points. As you can see there, this one is going to score me 3 points, whereas this one's going to score me 2 points. Now let's say that I do the garden. And what the garden would let me do is earn one of these tiles right here. And it's a garden. And so now I'm going to place a garden somewhere on my settlement. My settlement are these tiles that have built out across my board. And so maybe I put it right here. Now gardens, you want to have them touch other buildings. So maybe I would probably actually do it like that. Because at the end of the game, I will get 1 point for every building that touches this garden. Now, had I done a net workshop, I would have received a net, but nets are worthless to me unless if I have boats, which we'll talk about boats here in just 1 second. But you are going to want to put these nets in the same zone, which are these bigger squares that you have a boat in to be able to catch the fish that are in that zone. We'll come back to that in just 1 second, but that's what the green building is going to let you do. Now, if I had put together the yellow spaces with wood, I would have been able to either build this building, which gives me 3 points and allows me to get an extra barrel, which again, barrels are going to be wild and they count as any color of tile out there. Now, on the back side of the yellow ones, this is going to be a house. Now, houses are important because when you have a house, you then can put one of your survivors on any other building, not a house. So I would need to have another building out here first, but let's say that it was this tile here and I had a house somewhere else. I could put this person on top of that tile, and it's basically going to earn me the benefit, the bonus that each of these buildings offers me. So I would get, in this case, what the black ones do, they give you extra tiles to work with, such as an extra T-shaped tile. And so if I put a person on it, I'm going to earn an extra T-shaped tile. In addition to that, survivors that you put out on these buildings become residents, and they now give you 3 points at the end of the game instead of only 2. So that's what the house is going to let you do. The gray tile is going to give you points for open spaces around it. So let's say I put this right here. This is a solar panel, and for every open space around it that does not have another tile next to it, that is a point. So I would get a point here, here, and here, and here. Diagonal is not adjacent. Now on the back side of the gray, this is how I get boats. And as you can see, it's got a little boat icon right there. And so if I built that, I would then get a boat tile. And boats can go anywhere on your board. As you can see, I've been placing these T-shaped ones adjacent to another tile that is already on my board. But these boats, they can go anywhere. So maybe I put this boat out here. And you can actually put them in multiple zones if you prefer. But what they're going to let me do is cast those nets. And so again, I got a net from that green tile with the net icon on it. And when you cast a net, you just need to put it in a zone that you have a boat in. So maybe I put it right here. And for every fish that you can see, you are going to draw a fish token from the fish bag, which these are pretty cool because on the back side of these, they're going to be fishes, fish. And on the back side of them are going to be points ranging from 0 to 3, with majority of them being 1s. And so that's a good place to get some points. And sometimes they could have barrels on them too. So barrels are pretty nice, as I've already mentioned. But anyhow, that's the gist of what the buildings... Oh, I forgot about the black one. The black one does give you extra tiles that you can draw, such as the T-shaped tile, or 2 of these 1x2 tiles that you'll be drawing from this bag. And so that's what the buildings are going to let you do. And you are going to be doing this again until there are only 2 tiles left on the vortexes, and that's going to end that particular phase of the round, earning any bonuses and buildings that you maybe have unlocked along the way. And then at the end of all of that, you'll see if you have accomplished your goal. So again, my event here asked for 1 fish token and 1 garden. So going back to this, I probably would have put out a garden, or the greenhouse, so that I could have unlocked a garden, but instead of putting that garden somewhere on my board, I probably would have assigned it to the event right here, which means it's wasted to me. I don't get it on the board, but I have accomplished it for my specific event, and now I'm 1 step closer to getting 1 extra point per survivor. So that is something that you have to make decisions about throughout the course of this game. And you'll be doing that same idea through the 4 different rounds. At the end of all of this, you're going to clear the vortexes. You're going to assign new events again to the other players. And you'll basically repeat the same process, selecting more tiles from these vortexes, expanding upon your settlements, hopefully getting extra survivors and barrels and catching fish, and getting the stuff that you need to survive that event. Otherwise, you're going to be losing more points at the end of the game. And that's the gist with this game. Now, there are going to be communal goals as well that you'll be selecting. There's lots of them. And they have different things that you'll be wanting to try to accomplish throughout the course of the game, such as building enclosures, like enclosing different sections on your board that have fish in them, because that will give you extra points. Completing rows and columns, having buildings in the corners, that idea. And this increases the replayability and gives you something else to work towards throughout the course of the game. Now let's talk about the, well, there is one last thing I guess I should mention, which are the monuments. And monuments are bigger buildings that you need to have bigger space to build, and they give you big, big points. Now let's talk about the cooperative experience with the game. In the cooperative mode, you would actually play on the other side of the board, And your boards would be placed together to form a big old island that's going to be in the center of the play area. But basically, you would put all the boards together and it would be one huge board out here. But as it is, I'm just going to show it to you on this side. And essentially, what you're going to be doing, we'll need this space too, because we're going to flip this board over and show you the backside, which is going to be a resource tracker. Everybody's going to share the same resources. And you're also going to rescue survivors and put them to work. You're going to make them residents who give you special benefits, and you're going to reference the rulebook to learn what each of these types of things do. But your people that you rescue actually become like big time residents that help you with your settlement. And essentially, you're going to have to survive an event as a team. You will be surviving the same number of events as you saw with the competitive mode. But essentially, everybody has to work together. You share your resources, you build up your settlement. You are building all on the same board because, again, it's one big board. And if you fail any of your events, then you lose the game. So you have to accomplish these, and you'll be working with the bottom half of the cards. And so everybody is very focused on completing their goal. And at the end of the game, you are going to get points based off of how many people you survived, if you had enough food to feed all the people. You basically want these cubes that will be tracking your resources to move up at the same time. You want your food, which you're going to get from your gardens, to be ahead of however many people you have. Otherwise, your people are going to starve and you're going to lose the game. And then you can't build ships to catch fish unless you have built up your solar panels to allow you to do that. And so you want to basically move these up in a similar fashion, not letting one get too far ahead of another. And that's the idea with the cooperative mode with this game. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how this one works. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on Kalypso. And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Kalypso from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So Sam, first thing I want to point out to everybody at home is that this is a polyomino game, and both of us, but you especially, really enjoy polyomino games,
Yes.
more so than most any other kinds of games. So this one is already probably a notch in the positive category just because of that. But what did you think about this polyomino game?
Well, first, I think they did an excellent job with the texture of the board and the texture of the polyominoes. It's a non-slip type thing, a little bit fuzzy almost.
Right, yeah, it's almost kind of got like a felt-like feel to it.
Yeah, a little bit finer than felt.
Yeah.
But that was just really cool because you're putting multiple layers on each other, and that is a problem with polyominoes, is kind of the sliding around
of the tiles.
So that was very cool. I really liked that.
Yeah, never seen anything like that before. Got to check this out, preview it a little bit at Gen Con, and that was the very first thing that I noticed about it was the non-slip fabric feel of those tiles.
Yeah.
And it works beautifully. Those tiles do not move, and so it absolutely does what it sets out to do with that aspect of it. So I have a feeling you're going to start seeing that more often in other board games.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Kalypso was the first one.
Yeah.
At least the first one I'm aware of. But let's talk about the gameplay experience with this one because, it's a polyomino game. And you are trying to strategically place these polyominoes, obviously trying to match little objects, icons, and be able to have space to be able to put your buildings on that. Like Sam said, they're like you're putting one on top of the other. What did you think about that aspect of the game?
Yeah, I liked it. I think you have to know how to. I think you need to play it once to kind of get the hang of it. In my mind, with polyominoes, I'm usually trying to build cover all of a space.
Yeah.
And in this, that's not the case. You have goals.
Yeah.
And I think I had a hard time in my head. Like, I'm not trying to just cover all of the space. I'm trying to do other things.
Right, because it could be the case depending upon what those communal goals that you select at the beginning of the game, as well as some of the events that you get throughout the game. You may not want to cover up certain spaces. You might want to leave stuff open. So that's definitely a different type of direction for this game.
And the board is quite large. There's quite a bit of the board that you're not going to cover.
Right.
Because there's only 4 is it 4 rounds?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty short game, it feels like.
And I think you just kind of have to see that one time to kind of get that into your head, that 4 rounds. Because like I said, just with polyominoes, I'm so used to building in a very small area,
covering up 90% of your board.
Yes. And so I think I played badly.
Well, I did not play great either with this one, but this is definitely a game that it does take, like Sam is suggesting, it does take a few playthroughs to really kind of get a feel for how to do well with this game.
How it's going to look.
Yeah, for sure. And the cooperative experience too, being that if you fail one event, game over, you lose. So it is a very challenging experience with that, because you know, you're gonna likely struggle to meet some of these goals. In our competitive experience with this game, neither one of us accomplished all of our goals. I think we probably did about 50-50, like half the goals we met, half the goals we didn't. And that may just be because we're new players at this game, and I would hope we'd get better as we play it more. But I truly think this game is built to be very challenging to do everything.
I think next time we play, we kind of have a little bit better idea of the tiles that are drawn, what the end goal kind of looks like. But it is a challenging game. It is a quick game. Which a lot of times those two things don't go together.
The box is 40 to 60 minutes, and I think it's pretty true to that. And it feels like a pretty tough nut to crack in such a short amount of time. That being said, I feel like it's extremely fun. Like, this was a polyomino game that was very enjoyable to me, even though I knew I was not going to be hitting some of my goals. So there was fun to be had, even in struggling with doing well in the game. That was my experience. What did you think about that?
Absolutely.
So you've got a lot of things going on with this one. There are a lot of components that would maybe be my one, caution about the game. Lots of components, and so you do have to kind of get a hang of what all the components do, the different buildings, and the buildings are double-sided, so they each do different things depending on what sides you put out on it. But I really enjoy the color coding aspect of this, that the green seaweed goes with the green building, which is going to get you the nets, and that themes well because you can make nets out of seaweed. And obviously the garden tiles are going to be green too. So the theming and the color coding help to really kind of learn this game. Was that kind of your experience with this?
Yeah, for sure. I did need a little bit of help with Lance with the iconography, but that's always something that I struggle with.
Sure. It is a point salad. You're going to be getting lots of points in a lot of different ways in this one. I enjoyed that aspect. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not like the group goal. I absolutely failed at. So
I did too.
I was like, I'm not gonna do well, but it ended up not being too terribly far apart.
I really enjoy this game, and I especially enjoy it in the competitive mode. Haven't had to get to experience too much in the cooperative mode. Have experienced the solo mode. That's a lot of fun too. And so with the cooperative mode, you're having one giant board. Watch the rules portion of the video if you haven't already. But basically, a giant board, everybody's working together to accomplish their goals, their events that they've selected, and you have multiple events that you've got to deal with. So it is challenging, but if you all work together, it is a fun experience with this one.
Which we typically suggest cooperative games for a gamer, non-gamer.
Sure.
In our situation, we don't play a lot of them because if I'm going to play, I want to.
She wants to win. She doesn't want to win as a group.
No, that's what joy is there in that?
I kind of feel the same way too, though, if I'm honest. But anyhow, guys, that is our thoughts here on Kalypso. It's a very interesting, very fun polyomino game, and it has this innovative, brand new, I guess it's not technology. What is it, like fabric? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's, non-slip technology.
Yeah, non-slip technology when it comes to tile laying polyominoes. It's very cool. Works beautifully. So the game's Kalypso. It is from Inside Up Games. Again, it is running on crowdfunding, so make sure to check out the link down below in the description of this video now that you've watched it, to check out the campaign page, get all the details, and while you're down there, make sure to leave us some comments.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.